Welcome to Books Recapped. Drew Karpyshyn, Path of Destruction. Second part, Chapter 15 to 23. Star Wars. Darth Bane Trilogy. Legends. For the first part, check out our previous Path of Destruction video. The link is in the description. In the weeks since his fateful meeting with Githany, his situation had turned around completely. As promised, she was teaching him. The first few sessions had gone slowly as she'd helped him work through his mind's fear of its own potential. Bit by bit the black veil had been torn away. Piece by piece she was helping him reclaim what he had lost, until once again he felt the power of the dark side coursing through his veins. Since then the training had gone much more quickly. His hunger for revenge drove his studies. It fueled his ability to use the Force. It enabled him to understand the lessons that the masters had taught Githany and she had then passed on to him. Despite being ignored by the instructors, he was once again learning everything the other apprentices were being taught, and learning it rapidly. Only Karpyshyn, the blade master, didn't dismiss him. When another apprentice approached, Bane moved to the side, projecting an image of weakness and fear to hide his remarkable metamorphosis. He waited until the other apprentice's footsteps faded away before heading down the stairs toward the tomes in the temple's lowest levels. Cordus or one of the other masters might have been able to pierce the false front he projected and sense his true power, were they not blinded by their own arrogance. They had dismissed him as a failure. Now he was beneath their notice. Fortunately, this anonymity suited Bane just fine. He hardly slept at all anymore. It seemed his body no longer needed sleep. It fed on his growing command of the dark side. An hour or two of meditation each day was enough to keep his body energized and his mind invigorated. He consumed knowledge with the appetite of a starving rancor, devouring everything he got from his secret mentor and always hungering for more. The truth would be revealed soon enough. When the time was right, Sirak would fall. Some time later, high atop the Temple of Karpyshyn, two figures stood on the rooftop, ready to engage in a fierce duel. One was a human, the other a Twi'lek. The wind was blowing fiercely, but they were both bare-chested and unbothered by the cold. They locked eyes, and without warning they lunged forward, clashing their blades with a loud thud. Bane was studying Karpyshyn closely as they fought. He was analyzing each move, each block, and each strike, trying to absorb as much as he could from the Twi'lek's double-bladed fighting style. Their exchange lasted for over a minute, with no break or lull in the action. Eventually, Bane spun away to regroup, recognizing that his attacks had become predictable. The two fighters faced each other once again, still and silent, both searching for any sign that could give them an advantage. They had been training together for over a month, and their sessions had become more intense. Bane believed that Karpyshyn found value in sparring against him as he was a worthy opponent. The battle was intense and grueling, with both fighters breathing hard. Bane had yet to land a telling blow on his master, but he felt as though he was getting closer with each sparring session. Ultimately, Bane was forced to disengage as his defense began to break down. He knew that he was no match for Karpyshyn's superior skill, and that the next pass would bring certain defeat. He hung his head, lowered his blade, and admitted defeat. Karpyshyn seemed surprised by the concession, but he accepted the victory. "You were smart to recognize that the battle was over, but I expected you to fight until the end. There is little honor in surrender," Karpyshyn said. "Honor is a fool's prize. Glory is of no use to the dead," Bane replied, reciting a passage from one of the books he had read in the archives. Karpyshyn pondered his words for a moment before nodding in acceptance. "You are wise beyond your years, Bane. But remember, there is a balance in all things. The dark side can be just as dangerous as the light." Bane nodded, acknowledging the truth in his master's words. He knew that the dark side was powerful and alluring, but it also had the potential to consume and destroy those who wielded it. He would have to be careful and maintain control. or else he could find himself swept up in the storm along with his enemies. Bane, who had a grudge against Sirach, a skilled and arrogant Zabrak warrior, challenged him to a duel in the midst of a raging storm. Sirach, however, was not rattled by the challenge and moved with quiet confidence. Bane had hoped to unsettle Sirach, but the Zabrak was too skilled and efficient in his preparation. The duel began, and it was intense. Bane knew he could probably beat Sirach in a fair fight, but he wanted to destroy him completely, just as Sirach had destroyed him in their last meeting. As they fought, Bane studied Sirach's movements and discovered that he had no real experience in long, drawn-out battles and that he was slowly wearing down. Bane used this weakness to his advantage and eventually emerged victorious in the duel. Later that night, the Blade Master, the Twi'lek warrior, visited Bane and gave him a lightsaber that was the weapon of his master, whom he killed as a custom of the old days. This lightsaber was different than the others because of its hooked handle, which required a minor variation in grip and changed the angle of the attacks. The Blade Master explained that this lightsaber suited Bane's personal style quite well. This visit and this lightsaber had significant meaning for Bane, as it was a great honor bestowed upon him by the Blade Master, and it would help him to improve his fighting abilities. Bane, however, felt that the living masters of the Academy could not give him the knowledge he seeks. He decided to visit the dead Sith Lords in the deserts of Karpyshyn. Bane had missed the morning practice session, and Blade Master Cassim suspected Lord Cordus, the overseer of the Academy, to be responsible. Cassim went to confront Cordus and demanded to know what he had done to Bane. Cordus claimed that he had only tried to reason with him and make him understand the necessity of working within the structure of the institution. However, Cassim accused him of manipulating Bane and twisting his mind. Cordus then revealed that Bane had gone into the wastelands and was heading for the Valley of the Dark Lords, believing there were secrets there that would be revealed to him. Cassim was suspicious of Cordus's story and worried about Bane's safety. But Cordus believed that if Bane survived, he would learn the truth and give up his foolish idealization of the ancient Sith. Bane had made the decision to venture into the Valley of the Dark Lords, despite the dangers that lurked there like the Pelko swarms and Takatar. He had grabbed a handful of glow rods and set out to reach the valley before complete darkness. As he reached the valley, he chose the nearest temple and made his way to the entrance. He was shocked to see that the great stone slab of a door had been split asunder, and he assumed that whoever had broken the door had done it long ago. He stepped through the shattered portal, and as he made his way down the long entrance tunnel, he encountered darkness, so he pulled out a glow rod and activated it. The blue light filled the tunnel and sent a small swarm of deadly Pelko bugs scurrying for refuge beyond the dim circle of illumination. He made his way deeper into the tomb, and despite encountering a few traps, he found nothing of interest, just empty chambers and mounds of dust. Finally, he reached the burial chamber, where he discovered the remains of the Dark Lord interred within, but it was empty and held no secrets. Disappointed, Bane realized that there were no secrets left in the tombs and that everything of value had been taken. He left the tomb and made his way back to the Academy. Bane's journey through the tombs of Karpyshyn had not only been a physical struggle, but also a mental one. The hunger, thirst, and exhaustion had not only affected his body, but also his mind, stripping away his illusions and exposing the lies of Cordus and the Academy. He had been forced to rely on the Force to sustain himself and had had to use his lightsaber to defend himself from Takatar, the guardian hounds that prowled the crypts. The Takatar attacks had left him weak and unsure if he could defend himself again. The journey had been a disappointment as he had not found what he was looking for in the tombs. He had come to the realization that the Sith spirits were gone from Karpyshyn forever. He understood that it was Lord Khan's Brotherhood of Darkness, not the Jedi, who were to blame for this. He believed that they had twisted and perverted the ancient order of the Sith and had cast aside the true power of the individual. He believed that the Academy's teachings flew in the face of everything he had learned in the archives about the ways of the dark side. Bane's return to the Academy was met with mixed reactions. Cordus was worried that Bane's defiance would lead to the disintegration of the Brotherhood of Darkness, and that the Jedi would survive the war and rebuild their order. He was concerned that Bane's refusal to fall in line with the rest of the Brotherhood might be all it took to make everything unravel. He had to find a way to make amends with Bane for the sake of the Brotherhood. Sirac, on the other hand, saw Bane's vulnerability as an opportunity to seek revenge. He planned to kill Bane with the help of other students and Githany, who was angry at him for not finishing Sirac, her only true rival on the Academy. Bane was visited by Cordus in his chamber. He reflected on his past mistakes, specifically his failure to finish the fight with Sirac and not properly harnessing the power of the dark side. He thought about how Githany had helped him to see the true nature of the dark side and how she had opened his eyes to his own weaknesses. This realization led him to leave the Academy in search of answers. Githany then visited him later and took him to the archives, where she revealed that she had a plan to betray him, but also to help him. She explained that she had set up this situation to test him and push him to reach his full potential. Sirac, Yevra, and Loke were waiting for them in the archives, and a fight ensued. Githany aided Bane, and they successfully defeated Sirac and his companions. During the fight, Githany killed Loke, and Sirac begged for mercy, but Bane took his life, proving his worth to Githany. Bane reflected on how this act had set him free from guilt and shame, as he realized that he had been held back by his past actions and the weight of responsibility. He felt a sense of empowerment and liberation as he finally embraced the dark side fully. Githany expressed her excitement to join Lord Khan's Brotherhood of Darkness, but Bane disagreed, and instead suggested they leave and find a new place where the dark side is still strong. He argued that Lord Khan was a fool and that the Brotherhood of Darkness was a monument to his ignorance. Githany was hesitant to leave, but Bane was determined to find a new path for them. He saw this as an opportunity for them to break free from the constraints of the Academy and the Brotherhood and find a new way to embrace and hone their powers in the dark side. Lord Hoth, a Jedi Master and General of the Republic forces on Ruzin, was worried about the condition of his army. He was low on supplies and had more injured soldiers than healthy ones. He also received word that reinforcements for the Sith were on their way. He was frustrated by the lack of fully trained Jedi willing to join his cause. He was joined by his friend and right hand, Master Pernikar, and Lord Valentine Farfalla, who tried to offer him advice and perspective on the situation. Farfalla suggested that Hoth's lack of tact may have been the reason for the lack of Jedi support. Pernikar revealed that some Jedi believed that the Army of Light was prolonging the rebellion by strengthening the Sith's resolve, and that if they disbanded and surrendered Ruzin, the Sith would turn against each other. Hoth was not swayed by these arguments and believed that the Army of Light had a great opportunity to wipe out the followers of the dark side once and for all. Meanwhile, Lord Khan, leader of the Brotherhood of Darkness, and his followers, including Cordus and Githany, arrived at the Brotherhood's camp on Ruzin. Khan gave a powerful speech that rallied the troops and filled them with hope and determination. Githany and Cordus also discussed the absence of Bane, who had turned his back on the Brotherhood and left without a trace. Lord Capets expressed his concern about Bane's departure and suggested that they needed him because he was too strong to just let go. Cordus revealed that Bane's departure was his own choice, and nobody knew where he had gone. Bane meanwhile arrived on the unknown world, also known as Leon, a planet where Darth Revan and Darth Malak had discovered the Rakata, an ancient species of Force users that had ruled the galaxy long before the birth of the Republic, and the Starforge, a monument to the power of the dark side. Bane rode on the back of a fierce beast, a rancor, through the jungle to reach a Rakatan temple. He encountered difficulty in keeping the beast on course as they got closer to the temple, as it kept trying to veer off and hunt for food, but he was able to rein in the beast's hunting instincts to keep it on course. Eventually, they broke through the dense jungle and reached the clearing where the temple stood. The temple was a towering structure of carved rock and stone, rising nearly 20 meters into the sky. The only entrance was a grand archway at the peak of an enormous staircase, carved into the exterior wall of the temple. The structure stood in pristine condition, surrounded by a carpet of short, soft grass and avoided by the jungle. As Bane dismounted the rancor, he was immediately struck by the powerful dark side energy that the temple emitted. He knew that the temple had once been protected by a powerful energy shield that required a tribe of powerful force users to bring it down. Despite not sensing any barrier, he proceeded with caution. As he explored the temple, he found it to be stripped of anything of value, similar to the tombs on Karpyshyn he had previously explored. He searched every inch of the empty halls but found nothing of interest, until he stumbled upon a secret chamber where he discovered the holocron, a powerful Sith artifact that contained knowledge and secrets of the Force. The holocron was the recorded teachings of Darth Revan himself, containing various Sith sorceries, such as the Thought Bomb. Meanwhile, Githany on Ruusan had a vision of Bane coming to destroy the Brotherhood. She went to Lord Khan, the leader of the Brotherhood, to warn him, but he dismissed her warning and refused to believe that Bane would ever turn against the Brotherhood. Bane was studying with the help of a holocron. He was becoming obsessed with the artifact and the knowledge it held, and would spend hours studying it. The holocron was failing, and its crystal that channeled the energy of the Force was flawed. As Bane studied the holocron, he learned that the dark side of the Force offered power for power's sake. He also learned that the true power of the dark side came from embracing the transformation that the Force would bring, and that the Jedi's teachings focused on fighting and controlling this transformation. He also learned that the dark side was rivalrous, and that the strong must be careful not to be overwhelmed by the ambitions of those beneath them. He also learned that true power comes from having only one apprentice, and that there must be only one Dark Lord. This is the rule of two. As Bane was learning these things, his former mentor, Kasim, arrived and revealed that Lord Khan, the leader of the Brotherhood, had sent him to kill Bane. Kasim believed that the old ways of the Sith had failed, and that the Brotherhood was the future of the dark side. Bane disagreed with him and refused to join the Brotherhood. A lightsaber duel ensued between Bane and Kasim. During the battle, Bane realized that Kasim had been holding back during their training sessions and was impressed by his true ability. He also realized that he had not been using his full potential in the past, and he let the Force flow through him without reservation. Bane was able to defeat Kasim and emerged victorious, burying the defeated Kasim, his mentor, under the crumbling structure. His mentor, the only instructor at the academy who had ever actually helped him. Darth Bane, Dark Lord of the Sith, turned his back and walked away. This is the end of Part 2. Part 3 will start with Chapter 24. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing to our channel. Pressing a like and commenting would help us greatly. You can also support us on Patreon, link in the description. See you soon on Books Recapped.